All right, Dallas Cowboys fans, last study ball that you get for the season. And before I dive into championship weekend and start diving into some of the matchups there, taking a couple chances to go back and look at Buffalo Bills and what cost them an opportunity to advance to the championship game. Now let's take a look at the Dallas Cowboys and let's take a look at some of the issues that they had that cost them the opportunity to get to the championship game. And Dallas Cowboys have been kind of up and down all year. There's been some really, really good things from them offensively, but just inconsistencies in different areas is ultimately what costs them the opportunity to continue to advance. Or maybe I should say that's the thing that stops them from being able to be a championship team. They've got to continue to build. They've got to continue to get better in certain areas, and it showed up once again against the 49ers. So let's go ahead and dive into the tape. All right, so here we go. Just again, to me, so many things are about little aspects of things. So they're going to run a choice route down here. Okay, so it's going to turn into a hook because he's going to have leverage inside and leverage outside of him. Okay, and then I like the concept here because outside of this, you're going to run a comeback or a stop route outside of this. All right, so let's take a look at this first play. All right, let it play through for you. But let's go back, and here's what we're going to have. We're going to have a choice route over here. It's going to turn into a hook because San Francisco is going to drop down and have a guy inside and a guy outside. Outside of that, you're going to have a comeback or a deep stop route outside of that. Like that concept to that side. On the other side, you're going to run a swing route, a return route, and then a corner or something out here. So this is more times than not a pure progression throw. And what I mean by that is because you have a return coming from the top side, you're really telling the quarterback, hey, I want you to read to the bottom first. And then by the time you get done reading to the bottom, you come to the top and this guy will be on his return and coming back in. So it's not really pick a side. It's more start on the bottom and then work your way to the top. Okay, and I don't mind this concept to the bottom. Okay, so I love this. We used to run this all the time. Choice and comeback. Okay, and here's why I like it. Because for me, if we're running this right, I know I've got a body inside, no problem, but I can come out and say to myself that all I'm going to do is I'm going to read this outside defender. Okay, so if this outside defender gets depth and width, I'm going to be ready to hit this hook right inside of him. If that defender does not do that and he stays and holds down underneath, then I'm going to let him cover the choice and I'm going to come right back to this comeback on the outside. So watch how this plays out. See it? See the squeeze? Okay, and here's your throw back to the outside. Now again, details. Why is the tight end running inside? Why does he turn inside? Okay? Again, it's a little thing, but why does he turn inside? All my bodies and everything else are inside. So if I've got to throw this as a quarterback and you're turning back to the inside, it just makes it a little bit harder because I've got to leave the ball further inside and I've got to throw over the top of these guys a little bit more. Whereas if you run this and you run a comeback, which is down and outside to the sideline, you see, right? Now we've got a possibility of this window to throw around those guys and not have to throw over those guys. Little things. Little things to me make a huge difference. The other thing, that if I'm going to read this concept like this, okay, so it is more of a pure progression because, again, you can't really read this right away because you got two guys going to the same area and then you can't really get a read on that side until the return starts to return back to the inside. So that's why I don't think this is an initial read of any sort to the top, okay? But if that's the case, why don't I switch the tight end and the wide receiver? Because what are the odds of me going from the choice down on the bottom all the way back to this corner route up here on the top? Like, when am I going to throw that corner out? I don't really know because you're probably not going to be able to progress from the bottom all the way to the top and make that throw. So you're probably never going to throw that unless you just decide ahead of time I'm going to throw that. Why not put my receiver down here instead of a tight end to the outside? And now I get the opportunity to truly trust that my wide receiver can beat the cornerback there on a comeback, and I feel more comfortable staying to that side. So notice on this play, they're playing cover 3, okay? So he's back in the middle, deep third, and then they've got 4 defenders underneath, okay? And that's why I say I like this concept down here, and I'd like to just stay down here because I can read that outside defender choice to come back. But notice what we get on the front side, because if we get cover 3, we've got a defender that's supposed to cover the flat. So he should be getting width to cover the flat. Notice we've got another defender right here that covers the hook area. As we turn to run the return, he's right there to cover the, that hook area of the field as well. So we don't really have anything where we're isolating a guy or we're putting a guy in conflict back to that side. Now Dak beats this with the throw and splits those defenders and makes it work, but not to me a great concept on the backside, even though I understand this whole idea of pure progression, and we want to keep the eyes of the quarterback always going from one direction to the other because we think it makes it easier. I don't always agree with that, but you see some of the issues that they have right there. All right, so on this particular play, we're going to run a shallow route here. Again, we're going to run a stop route out here. We've got an in with Schultz, and then what I call an influence post to the inside. So always got to ask ourselves again, and again, I don't know how these things are taught. I don't like the pure progression because I think every play, if you've got a good play, has different guys that should be primary based on the coverage that you see. So San Francisco is playing basically a quarters look to the front side. Looks like it could be a cover 2 look to the backside, with this corner rolled up over here. But we've got quarters to the front side. Okay, so if I've got quarters to the front side, all right, we've got this influence. As soon as I see a safety sitting back to the backside, that thing's dead. So I am off of that right now, okay? So now I've got quarters coverage. What do I expect to happen in quarters coverage? I expect this safety to stay inside of number 2. I expect that. That's what he's supposed to do. And based on the way that we're running this, that's what he's probably going to do right here, because we're not influencing that safety with this guy. We're letting him go to the backside. So number 2 should be out leveraged by that safety every single time. Okay? So with that being said, what else do I have? I've got a stop out here. I've got a shallow coming here. So now I say to myself, because of the way we're running the other details of this, because of where they've got guys in position, my read should be this guy right here, okay? If that guy stays tucked inside, go get your stop on the outside. If that guy pushes through to the stop, then recover to your shallow right here, okay? So right here, everything I said pretty much happens, right? He goes to the backside safety. This safety drives inside of number 2. And now we've got this guy isolated. Do you feel he's too wide to take away the stop? Okay, then replace to the shallow that's coming right here. Instead, we're trying to jam it in to that in as we step up. To me, I'm thinking to myself, right now, my eyes are out here. I'm trying to hit that, and I'm forcing this guy to have to cover that. If I'm not going to throw it, then I'm just going to recover right over here on the shallow. Wish the shallow would run through a little bit further, but details of the route, right? So what do I mean by details? The other thing we could do, to me, on an influence, if I'm running an influence post, I'm not just trying to win to the backside. I'm trying to influence the guy down the middle, okay? So I'm trying to influence the nearest safety to me. So if I run a little bit more vertical, okay, now I keep myself away from the backside safety, but more importantly, if I run a little more vertical, now I have a chance to influence this safety with me to open up this guy if that's what we're trying to do on this particular play. But instead, by running through and not influencing him, we're running to the backside guy, we're freeing the front side guy up to take this. Now my read has to be outside to the shallow on this particular play. All right, so here's the interception. Okay, so again, details are everything. These guys are coming down, and you're going to see they're basically running 14-yard stop routes. Okay, when I used to run 14-yard stop routes, this was either one quick hitch, or a lot of times it was balance up, hit my back foot, and let the ball go. So I want you to watch Dak here. Back, 1, 2, 3. Basically takes 3 hitches. Okay? That's the problem on this play. I heard people say that this was on the receiver because he didn't keep coming back down the stem. It's not on the receiver. This is on timing of the quarterback to see that they've got middle closed, to see that you've got one-on-one on the outside, and you've got to be on time. If you're not on time with it, get to your check down. If you're not on time, get to your check down. I mean, when we saw this, this defender, you're not even throwing the ball yet, and this defender ends up underneath your guy by 4 yards. He's got it covered like a blanket. This ball needs to be in the air on the way to his receiver right now. The extra hitch, the extra time back there is what costs this interception, or causes this interception more than anything else. Pick a side, get your foot in the ground, let the ball go, put it where it's supposed to go, and you got to trust your receiver to win. But this is all about Dak being late to the throw and making it easy on the DB. If you're late to the throw, QBs, once again, late to your throw, find this. You come back, you know the timing's not there, find your check down, and live for another day. All right, here we go. Okay, we're going to come and we're going to run a double out combination and then spacing back here. Okay, double out, spacing. All right, so we come out. What are we looking at? Looking at this corner. If he's off, we're reading it outside in. Great job here by Dak. Outside in, boom, come back, corner's off, easy, put it on him. Let's rock and roll. Love the decision, love the timing, good to go. Showing that because you're going to see it again later in the game. All right. Here we go. We're going empty. All right. We're going empty on this play, and they run a play we call double hiss. Okay, so hiss stands for hitch and seam, hitch and seam, and then they put this inside guy on a choice route. So he can go there and hook, or he can break away to the backside, or he can break away to the front side. Okay, so we'll play this out. You'll see, right, possibility of throwing the hitch on the outside if he wants it, but he feels cover 2 here, and Fred Warner get deep, so he's just going to replace with the guy underneath. Good decision right here. I like it. He's quick to the inside. He recognizes the coverage, and we rock and roll. Okay. All right. Details. Okay? Details. Here's what I always want to know as a quarterback is, even though we're giving CeeDee Lamb the ability to hook, break away, or bounce back to the same side he came, I want to know what we want him to do. I want to design the play or the concept to give me a good sense on, hey, we're going to try to do this, and only if they play hard to take it away will we do the opposite. So follow me here. What I would always want my guy to do that's running this choice route is I want to say, what I want you to do is you're either going to hook or you're going to go to the backside. That's what we are going to try to do on this play. Now, if they overplay that and you're going to go to the backside and they move and cover you, then last ditch effort, you can bounce back to the front side. So why do I say that? Because the details become so important. So what I would tell my receiver then, if that was the case, I would tell my receiver to cross the face of this Mike linebacker, to get to his backside shoulder. Okay, so once I get to his backside shoulder, now if we're going to throw the hook, I know that the defender has to come through me as a receiver to get the hook because I've beat him and I put my body between him and the ball. Okay, second thing is if I get to that backside shoulder now I'm in a great position to get there and separate and have leverage to the backside. So it does two things for me, right? It helps me in two different ways from the route running standpoint. The other thing that it does is if I know that my guy wants to go to the backside, it helps me as a quarterback to know, okay, if everything's equal, I am going to eye the backside defenders because I know my recovery throw is going to be to the backside. So now I can take my eyes and I can read out to this side and try to get the throw over there, and then know that my guy is coming into vision, but I at least know what this linebacker here does. Does he widen? Is he sitting there in the hole? Am I going to have to beat him with the throw, or does he open it up? I know what's happening. Then, last case, if I get past this Mike linebacker, so this Mike linebacker is getting depth, and I get past him, if he wants to take away the backside, now he's got to move lateral. Okay? Now he's got to move to the backside. He's got to get his weight moving back there. So then if he does beat me to the backside, I'm in great position because I'm moving him to the backside. Then I can bounce away to the front side. So it helps me to beat the Mike linebacker. And then even another benefit of it, right? And this is what details are all about. The other benefit of it is if I'm going backside and getting more, what do I want to say? More width, I guess, away from the front side linebacker. So I'm pushing in towards the ball. I'm pushing to the backside of that Mike linebacker. I'm getting way inside. So if I do bounce back to the outside, my quarterback's eyes were the other direction because he was expecting me to go over there. But if he comes back to me, I want to give him some room that he doesn't have to worry about this front side linebacker getting involved and intercepting it. Okay? So doesn't really matter here because he voids, and it does look like CD actually gets to his backside shoulder there. But now he's between man and ball. Good read by Dak. We get the ball out. We get a nice completion. Okay? I'm showing this and talking about this for a reason, and you're going to see in a minute why I'm talking about it. Okay? All right. So this particular play right here, all right, it's a similar type play. Okay, so we're here. I think this is a conversion, was going to be a hitch as well. You're going to see on the backside, we actually run it in here and then a hitch to that side. Okay, and so they get the same type of coverage. So the Mike linebacker is going to run out of there, and Dak does a nice job. He runs out of there just like on the last play, basically the same type of look. Okay, they void the middle. So just like I took CD Lamb and empty, I'm going to take my back with the check down. I like that part of it. Here's my question on this play, is right back here. Okay, so again, I'm always looking at big picture. What are we trying to do with this concept? So we've got a seam, a double go because of the press look by the corner down here. Okay, so great. We get 2-on-1. If this Mike linebacker here turns the other direction, I could possibly get a 2-on-1 off of this safety. But in this particular case, Fred Warner opens to that side. Perfect. So now it would give me a shot to isolate this backside linebacker over here. Now, we're running an in route there, and you'll see Dre Greenlaw covers that in route all the way to the top of its route. Okay, so it's great. But what does he do? He voids this area right here. Okay, the underneath area right here. So oftentimes when you run a concept like this, okay, what you do with this other guy is you run him inside also. Because now we put Greenlaw in conflict, high-low to the backside if Fred Warner goes out the front side. But instead, what we do is we run a simple hitch to the outside, so we let the corner cover that. We run an in to the inside. We let the linebacker cover that. Now, we did get the void to the front side off of Tampa 2, and we can drop it to the back. But again, I asked myself the question, what are we trying to accomplish on this backside with this in route here, unless this in here is supposed to be a seam, just like this seam, and now we've got a hitch that would convert to a go, like this one converts to a go, and now we simply have all go on both sides, and that's why we don't have anybody attacking the underneath zone. So again, that's why I don't know what was in the room, I don't know exactly what was called, I don't know exactly what the play is, but I'm just giving you a couple different scenarios that if I was running this guy on an in, I'd run this guy on an under, and you see what it does to that defender. If we're doing this where we've got the conversion going on there, no problem whatsoever. Now we can read that Mike linebacker. He opens there. I can work my 2-on-1 to the backside, down to my back. So a couple different scenarios just depending on what you want to do on the backside. But good job by Dak, recognizing that Mike running out of there, not having one of the seams, and dropping it to his back. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. So I just talked about that empty play a couple minutes ago and what we wanted CD to do and why it's so important. Okay, so on this play now, we're going to run a slant and a wheel, a slant and a wheel. Okay, and then we're going to have that same choice route to the inside. Okay, so San Francisco plays this well. Okay, so we run this play and they're playing what we call catch two. All right, so he's going to carry here. Once that guy goes inside, this guy's going to come down and cover the wheel. You're going to see it on both sides. He's going to jump there and he's going to cover the wheel on the outside. So that puts everything on this route right here. Okay, puts everything on this route right here. All right, what happened this time? This time CD does not get to the back shoulder of Fred Warner. Okay, so now he doesn't get there, so it allows Fred Warner to attack inside and take away the inside of this row. Instead of getting crossed him, so he's got to come through you, now he can play one of the edges. Okay, so we lose the hook possibility right there because we haven't got to the backside. Then what did we talk about? Then when you bounce outside, it brings you too close to that guy right there. So what's going to happen is we come out of this and Dak thinks his guy is one, doesn't have a chance to verify this guy out here. He goes to throw this. That defender tips it. Fred Warner intercepts it. How do we avoid it? How do we avoid it? CD, get across him. Get across him. Force him to move to cover you. If he does, look at the space that you've bought from the outside linebacker there. If he doesn't, if I get across him, now I'm in a great position to cover that and then possibly break away because I've got leverage on him. What else does it do? It allows me as a quarterback to look over here. To look over here at this flat, see if I can get this guy to widen with my eyes and know this guy's going to replace to that side, but it gives me a better handle on what I'm looking at here. Okay? Another problem here, right? Talked about it a couple times. Dak's eyes. To me, it's all about the eyes. I just want you to watch the head of the quarterback here. Okay, watch the head of the quarterback. So we're going to get this. We're going to snap it. Okay, head. Left. Right. Left. Throw. Like, it's too much. I don't know. He's looking left. What are we looking left for initially? But then why are we coming back to the right-hand side? Same combinations on both sides. So I just want to know, what are we thinking here? Left? Okay, so here, let's walk. Okay, maybe he's looking left to see if he's got hot. Then he doesn't. Now come back, and I want to see the eyes out here to see what you got. So again, you can see this. If we get across right here, and then he breaks across, we got a great opportunity to complete that right there. But maybe that's the case. Looking for the hot left, coming back right to read the combination. Then I'm coming back to CeeDee Lamb. Okay, I can live with all that. But you see right there, that's the difference. See the edge right here? Fred Warner's got the edge right there. So as a quarterback, I know that I can't throw it at you and I can't throw it inside. So the throw's going to have to come out here because of the technique of this route. Look at the difference. If we just get to right here, what does it do? It forces Fred Warner to have to run over here to cover, or it gives me leverage. So now at least Fred Warner's behind me if I try to stick it on you, or you can run away to the backside and we win all those different directions. And then, as I said, the next factor is when that happens and we're over here and I start to bounce out, now I've got all this extra space before I get to that outside linebacker, in which now the quarterback has a chance to throw it and hit that hole, and we're not making a disastrous play right here inside the red zone and giving up points. All right, so here's the play that we've got here. We've got what we call 72 up here. So 7 and then an under or a 2 route right there. On the bottom, we're going to have this seam, and I actually talked about this play in my video last week about a way to attack the 49ers here. They obviously didn't make the adjustment, not that I would expect them to have seen my video and made the adjustment, but they didn't make the adjustment right here. But here's what happens. So they end up going man-to-man coverage, okay? And it's what we call man cop. Okay, so cop means that we're going to have one of these underneath linebacker positions kind of free to steal the middle of the field. So what the 49ers are doing here is whichever way the back goes that way. Greenlaw will cover him man-to-man, and that will free Fred Warner up to play the cop. In this particular case, Zeke goes that direction, so Fred Warner takes him man, and it frees Dre up to be the cop defender to the inside. So I have no problem looking over to this side because it's man-to-man coverage. Okay, it's man-to-man coverage. So if you do that, what we need to see right off the bat is Hufanga here jumps outside leverage. So once he jumps outside leverage, that corner route is dead. So if I'm looking over here, then my only throw has to be this right now. You got to be ready to take that right now because we've got a cop defender sitting to the inside. What I would do, and again, this is all next level stuff. Pre-snap tells me I'm in great shape to throw this curl back to that side. Why do I say that? Because I've got press here. I know that I'm probably going to get man across the board. I've got off coverage to a curl route to the backside. Now, there's nothing wrong with going, but I like this throw better against man-to-man coverage. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to peek that side. But once I peek that side and this guy drops to the outside, boom, I'm off of that and I'm coming back to read my curl, swing to the front side instead, right? And you see his eyes took Dre over that direction. Now come back to the front side to read your curl. There it is, right there. And again, I don't really like the curl. I don't know if he's rolling this to run an in or a curl, but based on the concepts I've seen them run in the past, it's a curl. Look at that. Look at that throw. If I'm back there and I'm on time, I've got a good throw right there. If I get a better route, again, I don't like the route. Don't know what we're trying to do there. But that to me is where my eyes would go right off the bat based off of the leverage that I got on the corner route on the 72 combination. But understanding those different things. Now let me go back to that play. Okay, I'm going to go back to this play because remember what I had said about the adjustment to this play that we used to make. Okay, so we used to have an in route right here. Okay, and then if we had inside leverage man, that guy got to the top of his route, he could turn it into a corner or a deep out. So if we had that particular concept right here, right, it gives you the best of both worlds. You get the right leverage, you can win to the outside, and you have that same throw. But on anything else, you get an in route right here. So then if that goes to that side and you had that combination, what happens? Right? This guy goes running over there. Boom. That guy comes right behind him, and we get a high-low over there if we stay to that side, regardless of the leverage that we get. And so that to me, again, was something I talked about last week where you're getting the best of both worlds. You got a zone beater, right? Right here. If you get it, if you end up getting man and inside leverage, you still get the same combination with the man. Little different change up like that, little adjustment like that would have given them a better opportunity on this particular play. All right, so this particular play right here, okay, it looks to me like they're running a stick. So it's a go, a flat, and then this becomes a stick, but can be read. And so in this particular case, CeeDee Lamb just hooks it to the inside. On the backside, we're running combo, which is a slant and a flat, okay? So again, eyes of Dak Prescott, okay? So the eyes of Dak Prescott go left first, okay? So I'm not sure why they're going left, okay? If we're going left here, maybe it's because he's trying to hold this linebacker to the middle of the field and then come back and throw this combination over here, okay? If that's it, I can buy that. But again, I want you to watch the feet of Dak, okay? So when we throw a quick throw, we need to get back, set our back foot, and throw it, okay? Right here, just notice that Dak comes back and he hitches and he never gets his feet set, and now he misses the flat back to the inside. So my point being is that pick a side right here, okay? Pick a side. Even if you're going to hold this guy for a second, it can't let you throw off your timing to the other side. So you peek at Fred Warner, you see what he does, make your decision. Now get set, throw it. Throw it right there, okay? You're back. This thing should be out right now to the flat, okay? But he's not set to do it because he looked inside, so his feet ended up staying inside. He was never truly set over here, and now he's trying to make it up with his feet going this way, and now he's trying to throw the flat back this way, and what's going to happen? Your feet go inside, the ball's usually going to go inside, and he misses this throw to the inside. The other thing he could have done is stayed to the front side, read the flat, you got it. Take the flat right now, and then CD ends up hooking this up, and then you get CD right there if you stay to that side. Again, to me, the biggest thing is just eyes. Eyes. Talk to me about the eyes. I want to know what the eyes are thinking. Okay, that tells me everything. So here we go. We're going to go back. He checked here. Okay, he checked here. So what are the eyes telling me? Here comes the ball. Eyes. Eyes. Look how long it takes him to have his eyes on the front side before he gets to the back side. Then there's a bounce, then there's a hitch, and then find it. It's a 3-step drop. Get set, boom, back, ready to throw the football. Ball's out to the back side. Just too long with the eyes in different places that he never gets set to make the throws that he should be making. All right, details, okay? So here's what we got here. So we're gonna run CD on a corner route here. Really, to me, that thing's only good if we get some sort of rolled corner or man-to-man coverage based on what else we're doing. So we got a corner there. It looks like a choice route right here because he's gonna go up and push and he's gonna hook right on the goal line, okay? And then, well, let's just start there, okay? So a couple things here. Okay, the first thing that I want to do if I'm running a choice route is I want to get width. Okay, I want to get outside this defender. I want to get him moving outside, and I want to get away from all this stuff inside and run my choice. Okay, so here you see there's no width that this defender never has to move sideways. Okay, so I'm always saying we got to force defenders to cover width and depth, but he never gets outside of him. He pushes right up inside of him and runs a hook. So, I mean, right there, like there's really no chance to hit that because we've never really threatened anybody. Whereas if I go outside and force him to move sideways and then I hook it, I've created width away from that guy. I've forced the underneath defender to cover width, and now I'm popping in that hole, and there may be a window to throw that if that's the case. Okay, so that's detail one. All right, detail two. What are we running on the backside? We are running a corner route, a shallow route, okay? And then this is what confuses me, is this route here by the back, okay? This route here by the back. So here's the thing. We've got to think about the different coverages that we're probably going to see down here. And what San Francisco loves to do down here is run a shell coverage. Okay, so it's either quarters down here or it's cover 2 down here is usually what you get. You might get some man-to-man coverage. If you get man-to-man coverage, then your beaters are going to be this stuff over here as much as anything. Okay, the choice in the corner, good man beaters right there. That's going to be my man beater. But I want to play for the cover 2 shell with the rest of my guys. Okay, so if I'm going to play for the cover 2 shell or the cover 4 combination, and I'm going to run these two things right here, I don't want my back going in here. Because again, you're going to see in a second how that can mess us up. What I want to do is I want to check and put my back on a swing over here. Okay, Kurt, why do you want to do that? Okay, so first thing is they're giving us cover 2 right here. Okay, so if they're giving us cover 2 and I put the back on a swing, I get an isolation on this defender right here. So I just want you to eye this as we run this, okay? So now he's running a corner. We got leverage on the safety right here. If my back's coming out here on a swing, this guy is in conflict. This guy has to cover the deep one and give me the throw to Zeke, or he's got to come underneath and cover Zeke, and now he gives me the throw to the backside if I don't have what I want on the front side. Okay, so that's cover 2, why I want that. Okay, so now let's say they're playing cover 4. So he's playing inside. This guy is taught to drop deep, and he's supposed to be able to cover the corner because he's playing outside leverage on the corner. Now what do we have? Now we have one linebacker back there that has to cover from the hook area all the way out to the swing area. So let's do this the other way, okay? So let's go here, and let's say this guy's job is to go back there. Now we're putting the swing here. Look at Dre Greenlaw right here, okay? We've got a shallow coming here. He can only cover. He's the only underneath guy to that side of the field. He can now only cover this guy or this guy. He can't cover both of those guys, right? So right here, he covers Schultz. Now again, the back released inside, so I'm sure he's looking to the inside. But if Zeke's over here in quarters and this guy's dropping to cover the corner, now we've got the backside backer isolated, and we've got somebody in conflict against what I expect them to play every single time, okay? Here's the other aspect. Where's Zeke go? Zeke goes and checks down right underneath this guy. So if that's our primary guy to that side, why would I put my back underneath him so I can bring more defenders to the party there? Pull those defenders out. Try to open up that guy if he's your primary throw. Because look, he's just turning and Zeke's already underneath him. It's not like they're two completely different times here in what they're trying to do. So I'm just got all these guys coming to the party here. So we're going to drop it off to Zeke, which is the right decision here. But I've got all these guys that are here to come tackle him because they're already there for the other guy. Got to make the catch, got to make this play. Can't drop it right there. But again, to me, play design. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to accomplish? And what are the details that help us to be successful on that particular play? All right. So this play right here, we're going to go with the play action. Okay, we're going to go with the play action. We're going to run an out route here. Then we're going to run basically a double seam combination here. And then we've got the stop back to this side. So it's a typical double seam combination right here. All right. So I just want you to see as we come off of this play action fake, okay, we've got basically a one high safety right here. And man, we almost have a shot running over the top of the safety who's dropping in on the backside. We could read our 2-on-1 to that side, but you're just going to see pressure comes and he's got to dump it off. Schultz has got to make this catch. Nice throw there, would have gotten him the first down. But you see, if we got time, man, there's a great throw right there over the top. And so these are the things that you see in the course of the game, just a little bit, right? Game of inches. Too much pressure up front. Dak couldn't hold on to it. Otherwise, we've got a great opportunity there. Now, the only thing that I ever wonder with some of these things. So we're going to come and we're going to pull this guard and we're going to run a play action fake. So normally when I run a play action fake, and again, I probably shouldn't even, we want to draw up that linebacker right there. So we're making a play action fake to that side. I have to assume that they're doing that because they're going to try to hit CeeDee Lamb on that side. So it's just something as coaches, I always want you to pay attention to. When you're running play action, know who you're going to influence on a play action, and then make sure that your route behind it is done in such a way that you replace the action that you have. So if we're going to fake to this side and draw up that linebacker, I want to make sure that I have something replacing that. So I'm assuming this seam or over here by CeeDee Lamb is what they're trying to do, and we're assuming that he's going to get here without a safety, and maybe we're pulling up that linebacker to hit it over the top of him. But just a little note for all play designers that play action is great, but always know how your play action fake ties into the route that you're trying to throw, who you're going to influence, and how you're going to replace him. Okay, so little thing right here. All right, so first thing, pressure off the front side. Okay, so we've got a hot there for Dak. Recognize it. What are we doing if we've got a hot? Okay, so again, here's what we got, right? We're running. We're not giving our quarterback any hot answer over there to that side if they bring pressure. I hate that, right? It's another time that it shows up that there's no hot answer, okay? I don't know if Dak sees it. I don't know if he sees it and knows he doesn't have an answer, so he's going to try to come and get his answer down here. But we're going to run a pivot combination down here, bounce in, bounce out. Okay, so always want to read that defender when we're doing this. Okay, so the timing of this, I'm okay with it. Wouldn't mind him holding it another half a second just to read this guy, right? You're holding another half a second and he wants to drop further to cover the corner. Great, it just creates more space for this pivot route. If he wants to come down, as he starts to come down right here, so you see this, I think if he holds it another half a second, that guy's coming down and he's got a shot for the one up over the top. So it's just a matter of details, but again, it may be he knows he's hot over here. I've got to get the ball out. I can't hold it another half a second. If that's not happening, quarterbacks, I would simply say, hey, you can go ahead and let him get going a little bit. He's already won off the inside linebacker. Let him go a little bit and just eye this guy for another half a second and force him to cover one of the two, opening up this play just a touch more. But we get the completion. We just allow that corner to kind of play both right there. All right, so combination right here, double post combination with an over, okay, a swing, and a shallow, okay, an over, swing, and a shallow. It's a 3rd and 8 situation right here. All right, so we come back on this play, and we're always thinking double post first, okay? We'd like to be able to grab this safety and turn him, maybe get the outside post right here, but in this particular case, this safety plays so high that we never fully get a read on him. Okay, no problem. So now our read comes to this guy right here, okay? Because we're going to read this over, to me, to this swing route right here. I should be out there in front of it, and you see this defender getting so much depth here to cover that over. This, to me, is where the ball should go, okay? That's where the ball should go right there. As we run through this, get your eyes over there. Understand where the play is going. Play, right? There's no chance for this one right here. That's dead right off the bat. Eyes on the safety. He doesn't give me a read. He gets depth. Eyes to this guy right here. Now, read it out the front side. Read it out the front side. See, the problem is if this guy's taken away the over, he can't cover the swing. That's the combination that we have here. A good combination to isolate one defender. The problem is if we don't make him cover both of those guys, and we throw it back to the inside, we've got guys that aren't in conflict to the inside. We have guys that can rally and cover the shallow here. If we're doing this, we have to read through it, okay? So the shallow here. So here's how this would play out. I go to read this guy goes and covers the swing. So now I'm ready to hit the over route. Oh, Fred Warner goes and covers the over route from his position. Now what? Now there's nobody to cover the shallow, but it has to start with this outside linebacker position read. High-low to that guy. If he gives us a read, take it. Hit Zeke right there, let him go downhill, and he's got to go get the sticks for you on this particular play. Instead, the eyes are inside the whole time, and we miss an opportunity for a big play. All right, you guys remember early in the game, we ran this play. Out, stick, spacing. Same exact play that they ran earlier. What did he do earlier? Great read. He threw it to CD Lamb. We read outside in, outside in, outside in. Why are we not reading outside in on this play? It's the exact same look that he had earlier in the game. Read it the exact same way. Throw it to CD Lamb, complete this ball, and move on. Instead, he decides to predetermine who he's going to go to. He goes inside right now. What happens? Dre Greenlaw should have had a pick six right here. And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I've seen it. I've seen him throw it. I've seen him make the right decision earlier in the game against the exact same look. Why are we not doing the exact same thing this time around that we did the first time around? Okay, this is just another last detail thing. Okay, so we're in a second and long situation here, and we're going to run double deep curls and then a deep hook in the middle. okay? So here's what you have to understand as a play designer, okay, is that what we end up doing here, and I understand initially. So initially, the linebackers step up here and they do what they're supposed to do. And so in this particular case, I'm not sure who Dalton Schultz is supposed to be protecting here. Usually it's not that linebacker, because normally we would have Zeke come to the backside linebacker, the offensive line, go to the front side linebacker, and then Dalton Schultz would go to anybody else that's over here that might come off the edge. Why is that significant? It's significant because if I'm running a deep curl, the concept is no good if we don't get these guys out into the flat. If I can't get a guy to pull an outside linebacker, then I've got no chance of throwing this particular play. So this is why for play design, we have to say to ourselves one of two things. First, I've got to put a route on the outside like a comeback instead of a curl, because these guys don't matter, right? If I'm throwing a comeback, it simply becomes one-on-one. Can I throw it up and over the outside linebacker? But I don't need a guy to pull a guy away from my deep curl, okay? So here, let's just play it out and let me show you what I'm talking about. Look what I'm talking about. See what I'm talking about here, right? These guys don't really have to separate anywhere because we don't get a pull to this side. We don't get a pull. Now Zeke ends up getting out here, and so now we at least put that guy in a bind that if he wants to drop and take away the curl, I can hit Zeke and we can pick up something down the sideline. But I can't throw this to the front side because Dalton Schultz stays in here to chip and help, and I never get him out here to pull the outside linebacker outside, so I create a true window here to throw this, right? That guy does get outside of him, but that's a tough throw right there with that guy in the window because I haven't pulled him out. So we have to know what plays we can chip and check, and if our guy doesn't get out, we can still be successful, and what plays we can't. Because if we don't get our backs out in this particular case, we have no chance right here, and that's what Dak's doing. Dak's looking over here to the left. What's he got to the left? He's got this with nothing checking down underneath it. He got no chance. He got no chance because we're chipping and helping when we really need to be out on that particular concept. And now it leads to a sack or a short gain right there because I really have no options on this long yardage situation because the checkdowns and the chipping doesn't mesh with the combination down the field. So you guys know I am all about the details. So I spent a lot of time on some of those plays because details are important. Details are difference makers in the course of any game, but especially in big games against good teams. And to me, this game was all about details across the board. Details from Dak Prescott. Where do I start my eyes? I need to be definitive. Anytime I'm doing this as a quarterback, that lets me know you don't know what you're looking at. Because if I know what I'm looking at, my eyes get to what I'm looking at, then I move to the next guy, then I move to the next guy. So details of eyes. Where are your eyes? Who are you reading? Why are you getting your eyes where they're going? The details of the footwork. We talked about it. First interception was he's hitching 3 times on something that has to be either one quick hitch or hit the back foot and let it go. We play to the advantage of the defense when our receiver's coming out of his route and the ball doesn't get there for 2 extra seconds. Defense is always going to have the advantage there. So details in routes. Why are we running the routes the way that we're running them? Why are we putting checkdowns where we're putting checkdowns? Why are we chipping on this particular play? It's a little thing. I get it. I understand what you're doing when you're trying to chip Dalton Schultz against Nick Bosa. I get why you're trying to do that. But you have to tie in the backside to the front side if you're going to chip. Otherwise, it puts your quarterback in a bind. Details. I'm not going to sit here and say that Dallas doesn't have a lot of really good concepts. To me, those concepts just need to be enhanced with better details on why they're doing what they're doing, how they can help their quarterback, how they can make things more definitive, how they can use different techniques to get their guys open in a better manner. That to me is what Dallas needs to do moving forward. Yes, they can add a little bit of talent here. No, I'm not a guy that thinks you're going to find many guys that are better than Dak Prescott at this point in his career. But They have to be better. They have to be better with the little things. They have to be better with the details. They have to be better with the play design. All of that stuff can help separate this offense because they've done so many good things, put up so many good points, but you got to get back to the details. You got to enhance the details. You got to understand the why behind everything that you're doing, and that's what I tried to do here on this tape. I know it was long, but I'm trying to tell you the why. Why is it so important for CeeDee Lamb to get to the backside shoulder of Fred Warner or that Mike linebacker? Why is that important? What does that do for the concept and my quarterback? Those are the questions you always have to ask. You have to ask it as a quarterback. You have to ask it as a play designer, as a coach. You got to always challenge what you're doing and saying, is there a way for us to do it better? That to me is what this tape is all about. Again, it's why the Dallas Cowboys are going home, not because they're not a really good football team, but the difference in winning at that point in the season is the details, is the little things that can separate you from even other great teams.